Welcome, everybody! Or I can't remember my Japanese at this moment. Not sayonara. Sayonara is when we say goodbye. I'll say that for afterwards. But
Konnichiwa.
konnichiwa! Konnichiwa! Welcome to our Japanese Grand Prix show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. This is Box Box
Oh, it's so early in the morning. I don't know why you're yelling. It's not.
It's actually late in the evening over here. So
it's like 11 a.m. here, so
that's the time I'm normally asleep.
We are excited. Anyway, we are thrilled to be back live. So you guys better be using that chat function if you can.
I like your talk.
You like my top? Thank you. Don't ask where I got it, and don't ask for it because you will never see this again. Madame Despairing Act.
Oh, she doesn't care about me.
I don't.
No.
Anyway, and I love you, Rafi. I love you so much. Anyway, we are excited to get into what was a wonderfully wet but crazy but fun return back to Suzuka. But before we get into all of that madness, and I just realized to take off my glasses because of the ring light, we need to talk about the news, which, you know, I say is going to give us all the goss about what the Cost Gap saga is, because it really is the news story that just keeps on giving. Really.
All right. So there are eight teams did they're all fine. Oh, okay. They all are in compliance. They did everything right. Aston Martin, they were within their bounds, but the way they went about their procedure of reporting it wasn't correct. So they don't get penalized? Well, not really. I guess it's more of a reprimand. I don't really know what's going to happen. No one knows yet. All we know is that they're in trouble. But Red Bull in particular, not only did they not do their procedure right, they also went over their cost cap. And you know what they spent it on? Catering. That is the most Ghanaian excuse I've probably ever heard in my entire life. Like, genuinely, you're going to spend it on food? I mean, that's a very me thing to do also, but genuinely, you're going to spend it on food. I do that all the time too. Like, every time I go by Burger King. Or Fairway. Like, you can't go by KFC, Fairway, and Burger King and not spend. So we got to explain for our pit crew not in Ghana right now. Fairway is this really nice supermarket that has all of this great candy, like imported candy. You get candy from Mexico, from the US, from the UK, like from everywhere.
Mexico. Since when did we get Mexican candy?
Yes, they also have Monster. Oh my days, this background is driving me nuts. We also have this Monster. They have Monster battery. It's not battery acid. It is battery acid. No, you know what tastes like battery acid?
Okay, thank you, lady. That's enough.
What is going on?
I don't know. They just started yelling about it's supposed to be battery acid, and then like I don't understand what's going on. Which, by the way, Mercedes AMG F1, don't mind them. They're very, 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 very nonsense. We like your sponsors a lot. Anyway, the point is that they spent it on food, which I understand that every growing F1 team needs food, but how can you go over that much? Really? Like, I mean, I get it. I don't get it. Please, I don't get it. I do not get it. And you know what? I think their accountant needs to be sacked. I don't think it was all spent on food. I wouldn't be surprised, but if it was, I know that for eating, they're getting food from Nobu. I could be a really good accountant. They got to account for the Japanese folks, but it's you would be a dreadful
No. What? We're getting their food from Nobu. No, what did Saddam say? Saddam said something about me being an accountant. What did Saddam say?
A bad one.
I would be fabulous.
Would not be good.
Great. What are you talking about?
Please, Afi, you would not be good.
I wouldn't be good. No, I wouldn't.
Thank you. Anyway, as we're talking about Nobu. So Nobu, it would account for the Japanese crowd, but then it's Western enough. Yeah, so it would count, and it's the only place I could think of that would cater for everybody's needs
would go above budget. Oh, for Ghana.
I'm surprised about
they have
Singapore.
jollof sushi now. I'm just letting y'all know they have jollof sushi. It looks whack, but I've been told it's really good. They also have like this jollof like kimchi dish. Really?
That I believe would be good. Anyway, someone was about to say something.
Ladies, can we get back on topic, please?
I'm sorry. Okay.
So,
Oh, gosh.
a couple of things about the cost cap issue, right? So, Aston Martin failed to complete a form properly, which I understand. Trust me, as someone with ADHD, I don't like forms.
Yeah.
However, Red Bull Racing not only went over the budget, less than 5%, which is okay, right? Not okay, but like, you get what I mean, which isn't a huge reprimand. But then they also failed to report employee salaries properly. So
how do you do that? No, that one, no. That one. How do you do that? Like food, okay. I get, but like, how do you do that? I know.
So let me explain. Someone on Twitter, at F1 Eimer, his name is Jay, had a theory. So in the rules of the cost cap, right? There are, which brings me to my new favorite section of the show.
No more sections, please. No more, no. I beg. This show's already long enough. No. I know where you're going with this.
The rules of the FIA explained to Red Bull Racing by Selim, who has no affiliation with the FIA. It's new. It's a completely different section, not to be confused with the previous one.
No,
I can't hear
Selim.
you, Selim. I think your mic's broken.
No, Selim. No,
I think your mic's broken.
Wait. My mic is broken? No, it's not broken.
No, it works now. It works now.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. No, Selim. No more sections.
So,
no more
okay.
new.
No. So the top 3 earners of your team are exempt from the cost cap. Right? So the top 3 earners of your team are exempt from the cost cap. Therefore, the theory that someone had was that in order to exclude Adrian Newey's salary from the cost cap, they had him set up his own limited company, right? And then Red Bull hired that limited company. And,
no.
And so now that they're a little over the budget, and so now that they realize they're a little over the budget, what they tried to do was they tried to include Adrian Newey's limited company in the top 3 earners, which doesn't work because the top 3 earners need to be people and not corporations. And so that's the theory that Jay had. So the theory is Red Bull Racing tried to include Adrian Newey, not as a person, but as a company in order for it to work in their favor. And then now they're trying to make it work in their favor again by saying that he's an employee.
No, you can't say it. This is some, what's it called, Wall Street, like, honestly, financial. This is fraud. It's a fraud. Sorry. I'm sorry. Look, and if it was any other team, we'd be calling it out exactly the same. If Mercedes tried to pull that sort of stunt by using like Damolier or something like that as and adding that as a part of their budget, we of course will be calling out this bullshit. This is some real like making Total Wolf or something like that.
Wait, hold on. This is just a theory. Again, this is just a theory that someone on Twitter put out.
Yes.
To be fair. So again, we don't. So I can't. Let's not put too much emotion into it because we don't. If this is true, then it's
sorry, everyone.
Maybe we'll get more information about that when they come out with the punishment.
Okay, but he does have his own limited company, and I quote: "Newey has his own limited company. As a man with multiple revenue streams, it makes sense that he would also be paid by Red Bull into his limited company rather than added complexities of being salaried for this one gig. And so it makes sense. Is this the case? And is this why the FIA said that they're breaching the cost cap? We don't know. But it makes a hell of a lot more sense than the fact that they spent all that money on tacos.
Yeah, I get it. It does make more. It does make more sense.
I mean, and this is the drama of Formula One, right? Let's just break it down a little bit. It is not a transparent sport. Let's just be honest with ourselves. We don't know the inner workings of every team. This was the cost cap was supposed to be the great equalizer. The cost cap is supposed to be the great equalizer in all of this. And what it has proved is that it's just made things worse, and I feel like teams are trying to go around it in very tricky ways. I mean, if Red Bull is doing this, who's to say that other teams are not doing this? I'm just saying, especially teams that we will spend Haas could not even make the minimum. We don't even know, who would be, I'm just saying that, like,
Adrian Newey's company existed before the cost cap. Like, because Adrian Newey does do outside, like, aerodynamical engineering work, which is why he has his own company. And so this existed before the cost cap, but it just ended up hurting Red Bull because they tried to go around it. And then, so they spent over budget, and then they tried to exempt it by saying that Adrian Newey's an employee, which obviously doesn't work. So this theory makes more sense to me and is more technically an accounting sense than just saying, yeah, they overspent on food.
But maybe they did. But
which is why I say I'm not the accountant. Anyway. I'm just saying that's the reason why IP is not accounting. Look,
but
guys,
also,
we have to move on.
My favorite part of all of this, of Red Bull breaching the cost cap, is Toto saying that if Red Bull gets off with a fine, a slap on the wrist, Mercedes will develop their car, fund everything, and then they will just pay off the fine and win the championship. Honestly,
because the fine is a slap on the wrist. They all can pay for it. Like, they all can afford it. Like, let's be honest, except for Haas and Williams, they can all pretty much afford the fine.
And the funny thing is, I saw a tweet about it, and they're like, Mercedes AMG's car, after they spend all of Daimler's GDP. Daimler is the parent company of Mercedes, by the way. Daimler's GDP, and it's a fucking rocket ship just like launching off. It's great.
Oh no, they're gonna do that. And to be fair, it does come down to the fact that Red Bull does get off with the slap on the wrist. I'm sure every team might be looking at it and thinking, okay, let's go into the rocket making business. Because the thing is that there's a lot of team principals that are also just as angry. They made the effort to comply. Why didn't Red Bull? And it's not even just for this year, it's for last year as well, too.
And you want to say also Aston Martin too. You people check yourselves. Just because you're a billionaire, you're no, Affy. They can't. Remember 2 years ago, they got fined. They got docked championship points for them replicating, I think, the brake ducts on their car. Something very similar, if not worse, should be happening in this case. And if it's not, then we know that the FIA is biased. There is a bias.
I would like to add on to that fact that Williams also had the same issue as Aston Martin. However, when pointed out, Williams was quick to rectify it. Aston Martin didn't.
Yeah, I think honestly, Williams got on their knees and begged and said that we can't afford it. So please do not reprimand us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to move on. Please. Anyway, we need to move on to the Japanese Grand Prix review because it be like that sometimes. And I know, Essay, quickly, tell us about the poll because that will lead into my segue.
So we ran a poll on Twitter.
Which you should be following us on, by the way. Just saying.
Yes. Box Box Goss F1. We are really fun. And
also on TikTok.
And Instagram.
So we are at Box 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 F1 on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow us. You will have a good time all around. We do the same thing there as we do here. Give me a second. I'm bringing it up.
I really hate this background. I'm not gonna lie. This is the bane of my existence at the moment.
And we might be changing our background. I mean,
And so yeah. So
because of floating head, that's gonna be a
we
move.
ran a poll asking after the Japanese Grand Prix finished, asking out of all the 4 races that we have seen return to the F1 calendar, which one was your favorite? And 39% of you guys said Japan was your favorite race, which is shocking because it took, we only got 45 minutes of racing.
But it's Japan.
Singapore and Canada were tied with 23%.
Canada.
Yeah. And then Australia came in last with 15%.
All right, listen, pit crew, let's get something straight. Let's not get something straight. We are 3/4 Australian of this group. Please.
What do you think, Quentin?
Australia was exciting. Australia was fun. It was at the beginning of the season, so we don't remember. What an exciting race that was. Please. I'm not saying that I don't disagree with you, pit crew. I'm just saying Australia should have been higher, especially ahead of Canada. I don't remember Canada.
And that was a fun race too. Australia.
I would just like to add that I would like to have more people enjoy Australia just so I could go to the Australian Grand Prix at a time where I can afford it. So if you guys could please continue hyping up Australia, that would be very, very, very kind of you. Thank you.
Anyway, so I guess we're going to go into...
I have a complaint.
What's your complaint?
Why wasn't the Turkish Grand Prix on the poll?
Was Turkey on this? We went over this at the beginning. Was Turkey run this year?
Should have been.
Not should have. Was it run this year? Yes
Should
or
have been.
no?
You know what? Do you want to sit here and argue with me that the Turkish Grand Prix would not have been a better race than the Japanese Grand Prix that we had?
But and on Singapore too, we need to add it there as well. But you know what, it'd be like that sometimes. And I'm glad to have both of them back, and I'm glad that we get to talk about Japan, because Japan was quite a crazy race. And we ran the 3-hour length of it. Not much happened during the 3-hour length of it, but we were still gonna talk about it. And I would like to be, I know we're gonna do quality and things like that, but I would like to be the first. Someone is rude. I would like to be the first to congratulate Max Verstappen on his 2nd World Championship. That's it. The end.
Straight face. I'm sorry. Straight face. What's the laugh? Tumbling like a hyena.
It's not that I'm disapproving of Max's title. I thought, no, he's very good for him, but I just wasn't expecting the glass of champagne. That's all. I wasn't expecting such a big celebration.
You don't need to, first of all, this is not champagne. I cannot drink at this point in time, pit crew. So, but I just, we might celebrate something good, somewhat happening in Japan.
It's not water.
No, it's a cocktail. It's a mocktail.
A mocktail. Wow.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a cocktail and a mocktail?
It's still a mixed drink, guys.
Does it have alcohol in it?
No, it does not have alcohol in it.
Lies. I'm telling you about
it. Anyway, look, guys, look, it was Max's championship to lose. Let's all be honest and reasonable with ourselves. Now, did he win it under slightly weird circumstances again? Yes.
It's such a shame. It's
Okay, hold on.
So sad that he keeps winning like this.
Honestly,
I'm very disappointed in his team.
So let's rewind a little bit, right? Let's start with qualifying, which I cannot remember what happened for qualifying.
Do you guys remember what we said last week?
Yeah. About the celebration?
Yes.
Oh, no. That was something else. Okay, sorry. That was about Hamilton gaining the championship.
I do want want to talk about the celebration because it was weird. So the results of qualifying was Verstappen did come in on pole. So he really did have a brilliant weekend. Leclerc was on second, Sainz was on third. So it was looking like Singapore all over again, basically. And then Sainz decided to dramatically, and that was a weird session, but I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about the race because we got started, right? Everyone got off the line in relatively okay fashion, which, by the way, I'm actually really surprised that they ended up running that race from the start. It was very wet. Meanwhile, Singapore, they delayed it by an hour and it was barely raining.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as what was happening.
It was not nearly as bad. Like, I know we
again, you should consider the humidity in Singapore compared to Japan.
Oh yeah.
Japan can get pretty humid as well too.
No, I'm not saying that that's not true, but the thing is, Singapore is humid year round. Japan is very humid during the summer and during the spring. And they were going into Japan during the fall, right? Because it's October now, right?
Yeah, it's October.
So
Yeah.
the humidity is going to be a lot different because also Japan is northern hemisphere too. So that's why the humidity, but then it still doesn't make so much sense because it was raining cats and dogs, and in Singapore it was raining
Crickets.
yeah, okay. So
No, but like honestly, I mean, like it was. I was surprised because it was actually quite. It was like treacherous conditions out there, in my opinion. I did not think
it
it
might be a spot.
It did.
I was surprised that they didn't just, and because the spray from the cars too. I was waiting for Max Verstappen to come and say, "Oh yeah, the spray isn't that bad up here."
No,
Man's here.
everyone was upset.
He's in
Everyone
front.
was. So like it was just one of those things. But anyway,
That was a very good start.
He did actually.
Very good
he
start.
did. Leclerc was he was very reactive, faster than Verstappen actually. That was very
Yeah.
impressive. But of course it was, and I was so surprised that Verstappen was able to get a little bit of oomph on him and like continue and like keep his lead. So like some pretty good racing from the two of them. But that came to an end pretty quickly. Sainz decided to not continue with us and I think he entered into a barrier. Oh, and we need to talk about Gasly. We need to talk about Gasly. We need to talk about Gasly and the FIA being colossal fuck ups once again. Sorry, this time I still want Paddock Pass Classic. I still do want that. What the fuck? I need a beat button. Selim, I need you to bring me that beat button because I'm going to start swearing. What's in the actual No, like honestly, it's actually disastrous. Like, how could you do that? Like, honestly, like how we lost a driver in very similar fashion, like incredibly similar fashion. So I'm actually I'm disturbed. Like, why do we like doing this to ourselves? Honestly.
Oh my days. Pop off. Speak your truth, pop off.
Keep going. Come on, Selim. Let's go.
Let's go.
What in the actual fuck
Slayer.
is wrong with you, FIA? Because here's the thing, right? Because here's the thing. The tractor was out there before the yellow flag was triggered on the driver's steering wheels. What? This happened twice now. We had it during the Singapore. Was it Singapore?
I think so.
I believe so. And we had it again during Monza.
We had it during Monza, not Singapore. It's been 2 races. What is wrong with you? Honestly, seriously, what is wrong? Because this is so. And then they have the guts to go and give Gasly a fucking penalty.
A penalty for speeding on a red flag. What the hell's wrong with you?
Wait,
like,
why?
Honestly,
Because
honestly,
during red flag conditions. What do you mean? He couldn't see. Max couldn't see what was happening during red flag.
Gasly had something right in front of him.
For a organization who prides itself on safety, we need you guys to get it together because you guys, honestly, it seems as though you just like danger at this point. You pull us, you've been pulling these stunts twice in a season. I mean, how can you pull a stunt, the same stunt twice in a season?
And not even just the same stunt twice. They pulled the same stunt at the same track that we lost Jules Bianchi in, which, rest in peace. Like, what? Are you insane? Like, are you okay? Like,
no,
who is running the
insane.
FIA? Let's have actually, what's it called? Mr. Salima. How are you doing, sir? I hope you're doing well.
I'm out of
I really
here.
The
do.
rules
I
of
hope
the
you're doing
FIA explained to the FIA's president by Saddam, who has no
Yeah.
affiliation with the FIA.
I want tickets. I'm not parts. Actually, the
I can't even continue. Sir, please.
with each other. So why don't
Sir.
FIA and F1 like each other now? Well,
No,
they've been
I-
having outs and stuff.
Oh,
I
did you
just
guys
want-
know?
No.
Did you guys know Formula One is thinking of parting ways with the FIA? Like this was
Oh,
news
yeah.
earlier in the season.
Wait, Formula One, because Liberty Media is not happy with them now, right?
No,
Yeah.
they're not happy. I don't know
How do you
what
think they feel right now? They were thinking of splitting up with them at the beginning of the season. How do you think they feel now?
Oh,
Because
fantastic.
The
I
FIA is a
mean-
joke. I'm sorry.
And you know
I'm
what?
sorry.
Like,
oh,
like the thing is that they need to they could have had the decency to say, we fucked up. We're sorry, Pierre Gasly, who put you through that. Let's take away that penalty and let's see if you need any help. We'll be happy to work that out for you. We know how
Yeah,
close.
no. And you know what? I think they did like also a mental health campaign recently because I think it was mental health awareness in September. Wait, yeah, let me continue. Pierre Gasly is reported to have been saying that he's now been having nightmares since Japan, to which if the FIA is not paying his therapy bills, I'm coming for you. I
You're
am coming.
coming.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I am. Oh, bring my bells. I'm coming. No, that one is not. That's not okay because the FIA is fond of this. You say and you preach something, and then you do exactly the opposite. Why?
I would just like to say that. I would just like to say that as a mentally ill, right, and also as a minority of a minority who likes to watch F1, you and your racist one, and you and your mental health. Please, it's not helpful whatsoever. Unless we see you actually doing some type of action. You just having racist one on your banner, really great. Fabulous.
Wow. Wow. When girls are getting assaulted at the Austrian Grand Prix. Wow.
You don't do anything about the minorities at your races getting racial slurs at them. You don't do anything. So please, we don't want to hear it. It's much better to just stay quiet, to be completely honest.
And I want to reinforce to the pit
Just
crew.
stay quiet. So
I want to reinforce to the pit crew that, as much as we'd like to stick to the racing, because we like the racing, that is why we are all doing this show at the moment. It is hard to ignore an organization that makes all of these claims outside of racing and doesn't practice what they preach within what they can control. And they can control a lot. They should just be quiet. At this point in time, stop talking.
It just kills the sport for me. Because all jokes aside, yeah, we have fun. We make fun of the FI every once in a while. 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, not 2 or 3. 3 or 4 years ago, you would not have heard nada about who was involved in the FIA, who was making the rules, who were the race stewards. Because there are some things that do their job so well that you never hear about them, that you never have to hear about them. And this is how it should be. This is how it was, and this is how it should still be. If the FIA...
We had that one. Who was it?
If the FIA is more in the rules...
I did once Charlie Whiting passed away or retired, that's when the FIA, in my opinion, started going downhill. Like, that's when I also Charlie Whiting was the first time I heard about Charlie Whiting was when he passed. And the only reason why I heard about Charlie is because he's very good at his job. That was literally the only reason. And also
Exactly.
they have those YouTube clips too about, you know, the drivers. That was a good, very funny. And Charlie Whiting is like leading it. They're filmed like The Office. Go watch that. It's
Oh yeah, you really should. They should bring that back. By the way, that stuff is gold.
So Mr. UAE, Mr. Please pay for my college tuition. Won't do anything like that for that. But someone please land. What were you saying? Please continue.
This
Did you lose
sport.
it? I'm sorry.
No, almost. Like I said, the FI needs to do their job so well that they shouldn't be in the news.
No.
If the FIA is in the news every weekend, every single weekend, like they have been this year, they're doing a terrible job. So I don't know what the solution is, right? Formula One tells the FIA to fuck off. And nothing against the people involved. Just as an organization, they're terrible at their job. So either Formula One tells the FIA to fuck off and creates their own thing to regulate the sport, or the FIA pulls up their pants. And I just don't see it. I just don't see how the FIA is ever going to be back in a place that they were 3 or 4 years ago, where they were doing their job consistently without being in the spotlight.
I personally think they need a rehaul. I think they need to gut whoever's in there right now and just bring in a whole fresh new batch of people, a new team, refit. Because, you know, organization makes, like, people make up an organization. And clearly the people that are in it aren't getting it. So
Never
I mean,
gonna
like, I think
happen.
it just needs to, I know it's never going to happen. So I think, honestly, I'm a creature of habit. I would not like to see at the FIA part ways with Formula One. But if they do, I get it. Like, I mean, it's insane. Like, they're running, I don't know how they could run this organization like this. And they have so many other outfits that they have to look into. Maybe it's just too much. Maybe they can't handle it all. I mean, everything's getting press right now, you know, like.
So if they weren't to work with the FIA anymore, who would they work with then?
They would create their own organization to do it. Because
I don't think that's a good idea either. Because I feel like Ferrari already throws their weight around quite a fair bit. Now, or creating a new organization where maybe the other teams might be able to get involved and have a bit of a say. I don't think that's a good idea. I think they'll be able to make it very polarizing and very, like, difficult for, like, smaller teams. I mean, like, we're already taking a look at, like, who wants to join Formula One now. Like, that's even becoming a bit of a struggle. So, like,
by the way, I don't understand why we can't have an 11th team. I don't like the Formula One principal, Dominicali. I don't know what Dominicali is thinking. I don't know what Dominicali is thinking. F2S 12. I don't know what Dominicali is thinking. Because he keeps on saying, oh yeah, we don't need an 11th team. No. We need, like, reverse grid qualifying, and we need the car's tires to burst every 2 laps so that they need to come into the pits. And that's an exaggeration. That's actually what he said, but the other one wasn't. So
anyway, we've been bitching about the FIA for quite a fair bit, and we need to move on. Okay, so let's actually get back to what we like to talk about, which was the racing. Which, now that I realize we only got 45 minutes of the actual racing, so that's what we're bitching about.
We got to see Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso go at it. Oh, yeah. It's like watching 2 old men play chess. It was really fun.
Oh,
that's
and then
rude.
We also got to see.
That's rude.
She's a very rude woman. She's a very rude woman.
Come back to your senses.
It's an analogy.
It's a bad one.
It's 2 legends.
Anyway.
It's 2 legends.
6 championships between the 2 of them. Please, anyway.
Respect. Not a word out of you. Not a word out of you, George Russell fan.
Hey.
Not a word out of you.
Anyway, I also would like to point out. I also would like to point out Esteban Ocon. For the first time, I'm not going to bitch about him. I'm actually going to congratulate him. That was pretty. Why? His defending was good. I don't like it. Please, I'm a Hamilton fan.
I didn't see him defend. I just don't like Ocon. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, Pierre Gasly's going to Alpine next year. We didn't talk about this.
Oh shit, Pierre Gasly is going to Alpine.
Nick DeVries.
We didn't talk about that last week. No, because that happened like in between races.
This week,
Yes,
Nick DeVries is going to AlphaTauri.
Yes, Nick DeVries is going to AlphaTauri, which apparently Verstappen may have helped with, which, I mean, way for the Dutch people to rally behind their own. That's really impressive. But Verstappen, I just want to point out, he's still a Mercedes person. So please don't try any small things.
Is he still a Mercedes person?
Yes. Right. Yes, he is.
Is he? Because Albon in a Williams is, right?
No,
but I don't know. Yeah, no, you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
Yes, I know
Albon kept his Red Bull contract when he moved to Mercedes. Did Nick DeVries keep his Mercedes contract when he moved to AlphaTauri?
People in the chat, please let us know if we are off pocket. But I believe that he did. I think he's still in Mercedes.
We have people in the chat.
If he didn't, then I won't be happy.
We do actually have some people in the chat. Someone that's mean. We're small, but we're doing great. Okay. Anyway,
people in chat, say hello. Also, we need to shout out Eugene's comment because it says Afi keeps on disappearing like Hamilton on the top step of the podium this season.
What did
You're
he
very
say?
rude. That's what I said. Very rude. He
What
said
did he
Afi
say?
keeps disappearing like Hamilton on the top step of the podium.
It's not a choice.
Afi's mic quality goes to shit, and I love it.
The way she just started shouting off of it. She was like, let's have We are not okay. Anyway.
No.
A lot happened. Okay. And so, right. So Pierre Gasly is no longer a part of AlphaTauri. He's going to Alpine. Nick DeVries, doing amazing at Monza, is now going to AlphaTauri.
Yes.
Baby Shumi does not have a seat yet. I just would like to preface, he has not signed
he's not signed yet. Yeah. So we have an empty seat in the Williams.
And we also have an empty seat at Haas. So I don't know what's happening.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. But like I don't see Mick Schumacher losing his seat.
I don't see it either. I'm surprised they're taking this long to be like, LOL.
Why are they taking their times like that? I don't know. Also, has Magnussen, does he have a seat? He has a seat.
Yes.
Still. So wait, but that literally doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it makes
Magnussen
complete
deserves
sense.
to be in the sport.
No.
Kevin Magnussen needs to be back here in this sport. He's a very good driver.
Shumi is doing his best. Shumi
also he has gotten better. No, he does. I'm not saying he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't see him losing his seat. He should be signed now. I don't know. They're taking their sweet time. Maybe they lost like the form that they need to fill out. I don't know.
I have seen your comment. I know that I've seen your comment on WhatsApp about me ranting about Red Bull's food budget. Please, I will speak to you after class. Anyway, I have seen that comment. I just want to point that out. Anyway, I know you're worried about your husband, right? I just also would like to let you know that Mick Schumacher's driver crash costs in euros was the highest for last year. 4,212,000 euros.
I don't know what that has to do with that.
In that comment, I just want to point that out. Anyway, I'm tired.
Expensive. Your man is
I'm tired. I am honestly tired. I also would like to point out that Leclerc was second and Verstappen was third. I just wanted to just make that clear. But anyway, look.
Wait. At the end of the race, Verstappen was third. I thought he won.
No, with the crash costs for last year. Which makes sense given that they are over budget in last year anyway. So, as I was saying,
so
we are really interested.
compared to last year, I feel like last year's championship battle was a lot more exciting, and in the end, even though we had that controversy, it was a lot more exciting than this year was.
Yeah.
In general. And the thing is, we've had championship battles where it hasn't even been close, but the podiums have been more exciting and the drivers have cared even more. And it just brings me back to the same point every fucking race. We do not need 24 races plus 2 races in Saudi Arabia when we have 6 in the Middle East to have a good season. Jeddah fine. They want another
Jeddah
one.
Fine. We can skip one, but we shouldn't have to.
We don't
the
need,
Saudi government better get their head out of the clouds. We are not having a second race in Saudi Arabia. And if we do, I've had it. Like,
Jeddah's
please.
nice.
I think we are at capacity for
Can you be
races.
fair with the understanding as to why they would want to have a second race?
Of
in
course,
Saudi?
they want money.
Because
That's it.
yes, because but also it makes sense for there to be 2 races in Saudi because of the Aramco, Aramco,
Aramco sponsorship.
The fuel. But ever since
Yes,
it's been happening,
yes, but Afi, but Afi, you gotta keep in mind. Afi, you gotta keep in mind. Guys, you gotta keep in mind. For next year, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia,
UAE,
Abu Dhabi. That's 4 races in the Middle East. China, Japan, 2 for all of Asia. 2 for all of the United States.
Singapore,
Okay,
3.
3 for all of Asia, which is okay, right? Not bad.
1 for Australasia.
1 for Australasia. None for Turkey.
Sell them.
3 for America.
0 for Africa. I just want to point out.
Africa.
We are still O for O. Why?
Can we have Kyalami?
Why?
Please. Can we have Kyalami? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not a street circuit. It's perfect. It's great. Okay, we do have Azerbaijan for Turkey, so that's fine. But still, we can have Turkey as well as Azerbaijan because Turkey's a racetrack. But like,
We can have
that's
everything.
the thing. That's the thing. If the FI was like, here's a street race, and then here's a racetrack, then we'd be happy.
And I want to also add, the US, a population of 300 and so million people, has 3 races this year. 3. China, of a population of 1 billion plus people, the largest population in the world, has 1. We used to have an Indian Grand Prix. That doesn't exist anymore. Why are we racing in sorry, I know American fans are really excited, and I really do appreciate your fandom, and I really do appreciate the Americans out there. But like, I do not understand why you need more than 2 races at the very least. Miami and Austin. That's it. Why Las Vegas? Las Vegas is not going to go well.
The US time zone has like 4 different races that you guys can watch. So it's, in all honesty, I get it, you're excited, but then also, like geographically, it just logistically doesn't make much sense.
Okay, Brazil is also just as big as the United States as well too. I think they're under 1 time zone though, but like Brazil is just as big. Why do we have a Sao? We were supposed to get a Sao Paulo and a Rio de Janeiro race, and they canned that one because of money.
You know what we're doing. You know what we're doing next weekend, and I've wanted to next race weekend. I've wanted to do this for a long while. I'm gonna put all the existing FIA Grade 1 racetracks that Formula 1 could race at, and we're gonna create our own calendar.
Yes.
You know how long that would take us?
Do that as our last
on this group. You know how long that would take us?
We'll do it instead of the news. It's fine.
Okay.
That's actually what says there actually will be news.
Yeah,
look,
the FIA.
We have to wrap up.
Formula 1 splits up with FIA. Us just making the calendar while that news breaks.
I want to add something before we wrap up. It goes into the wrap up. I don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. So congrats to Max Verstappen. I would just like to say that my laugh in the beginning was not because I don't think you deserve it. It was just because
it was.
The whole situation is funny to me. Congrats to him. And I feel, you know what Selim was saying about the celebration and everything, especially last race. And I was giving excuses. No more excuses. The celebrations have been asked. I would like fireworks. I would like parade. I would
Thank
like
you.
I would like little anime girls to come out and give him flowers and stuff. I would like
You deserve that. You had me until you said little anime girls. We're not trying to get banned.
Yeah, we're not trying to get banned, actually.
no,
Anyway,
I don't like that. Okay, someone. I want a whole like Dragon Ball Z like parade at the end of it. Oh, I was just coming to say that I just want to find out where that chair came from because I feel like Orca might have a good. Okay, you're done. I think also that the hats also that the fans came in with for this race. So cool.
yeah, Japan.
Cool.
You
Always.
guys don't do
Japan is
fandoms
amazing.
anyway. You guys are on another level.
Yes.
Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much. You guys really bring it. And thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us today. We will be back in 2 weeks for Affy's home Grand Prix, the United States.
Whatsoever, except for what F1 races.
Affy, where were you born? Affy, where were you born? Affy, where were you born?
Singapore, Australia, and God, I was born in 5 different countries. Let's get it together, okay? Please, thank you. I was born in space season. I was born on Mars.
We'll be racing in Affy's home state of Texas.
What an insult, So,
thank you, Stella.
we just want to say we still do appreciate you.
Thank
Silence.
Stella, stop it.
Silence.
Stop it.
blissful.
Anyway, we will be back in 2 weeks for the US Grand Prix. It is going to be a fun one, guys. You will definitely want to stay tuned in for this. Until then, lots of love. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.